A very powerful way of making selections is to use the pen tool here in conjunction with paths to create a very accurate path. You couldn't really use a magic wand here. Polygonal lasso tool is not going to work too well. So paths are a definite way of actually approaching a problem like cutting out a little girl from a complicated background scene like this. So open up the kid path file from the cover CD, double click on the background layer here to make it editable, and choose the pen tool from the toolbar, and then go to paths on the paths palette icon here, click new path, and we'll start to click and draw our path around the kid. So let's just zoom in and place anchor points just by the kid's head. Now as I place a point, if I click and drag, you see you get a nice curved handle there. So that is a very quick way of selecting large areas with the minimum of anchor points, because you don't want to have to spend loads of time placing lots of little points. You actually want to try and keep these anchor points to a minimum, so use them in a way that will allow you to select curved shapes, because they're very good at that. Let's just zoom in like so. Now there's a big straight line here, so I'm going to try and select this in one big go. There we go. So with a bit of practice, you'll be able to use the minimum amount of anchor points. When you first start using the pen tool like this, you end up with lots of little anchor points placed, but you'll soon get quite fast at using it, especially on areas like this that curve around like so. So I'm just clicking to select around the kid, and then we'll make that into a selection, and also show you how to edit the path once you've placed all the points. Okay, I'm going to do this in real time. There's bits I've missed there, but you'll see that you can actually add extra anchor points once the path has been finished, so that you can fine-tune bits that you've missed. Okay, so we'll just carry on drawing around the kid. There's a large area there that we can select in one go. Because I'm trying to fit all of these training movies onto one CD, I'll be a little faster at making the selection than I would ideally be, so it won't be quite as perfect as it would be if I was not recording it on video. But you'll see the principles of the technique as we go through this. Okay, so I'm just clicking and dragging just to add these curves to the selection. And here's a nice curved area here, so I'll just click and pull. There we go. And then click again at the corner here. Another point there, one there. So these straight lines here are very easy to select. And we're not far away from coming back to the very first point again. We could try using the magnetic lasso tool on a selection like this as well, but you have more control over fine-tuning the selection using paths. So you could always convert the magnetic lasso tool into a path and then edit it afterwards if you wanted to. Okay, we're near the end there. Just grab a little bit of hair like so, and then up to the very first point. We complete the path, and then we can make the selection if we like. Add a feather of about 1 pixel, make it nice and soft, and there we have the path created. But you might just deselect that for the moment. You might want to edit this path, and this is where all these other options come in here, like the add anchor point tool. If we select that, then we can go to bits that were not quite perfectly selected, like this area here, and then just click, and you can then edit this new anchor point. We can play around with the direct selection tool, and you can click and move the anchor point that you've added, and indeed any anchor point using the direct selection tool from the toolbar there, to fine-tune the points that you've laid down. So that's very, very useful indeed. You can also, of course, delete anchor points as well. So you've got quite a lot of control here in the paths. Sorry, in the pen toolbar. There we go. So once we've fine-tuned our anchor points and we've kind of made a few alterations, we can then, as I said earlier on, make the selection and click OK. And then if we hit back to the layers palette here, now if we hit backspace, we're cutting a hole using the selection. So what we're going to do is actually add a layer mask, but I'm going to do that in the layer mask movie just to show you how layer masks allow you to fine-tune a selection that you've made. So go to the layer masks movie if you want to see layer masks in action, because they're very, very powerful indeed. But that's the basics of the pen tool and paths in this movie. So see you in the layer masks movie.